It was the weirdest dream I could ever have. I was lying on a bed, and someone was cutting off my foot. I mean, there was just blood and flesh everywhere. It was like gore porn. Next thing I know, I'm at the hospital, and the doctors, very casually mannered actually, were discussing how to put on my foot. Which was odd because in my dream I knew I showed up without the foot. So they're still talking, and I'm trying to tell them that I didn't show up with the foot. I don't know what foot you're going to put on. I don't have it. Fast forward, I'm walking down the street, both feet intact. But I feel a rock in my shoe. So I take off my shoe, and I still feel it, even though I empty the shoe. So it must be in my sock, so I take off my sock. And to my amazement, there was a werewolf foot. Just one werewolf foot. Weird.
I was in the middle of a park one day, and I decided I'd lie in the grass. I put my head in my hand, and when I went to lie down, my hand ended up on a sharp piece of stick that I hadn't realized was there. Later that day, I realized I was out of milk, so I had to go down to the 7-Eleven on the corner to buy some of their very overpriced milk. It was twice in one day that I had gotten gouged. Sometimes when I'm driving, and I have to slow down and stop for a red light, I like to think to myself, would I have made it? If I just floored it through the red light, would I have hit someone? I then look around to see if any cars are coming, and I make my decision.
"15 minutes went by since I started the treadmill. And normally I'd run to the beat of my iPod. And at first I did, until it dawned on me. I put so much effort and sweat into the simple act of running, just to simply wind up in the same spot. I felt like a hamster. The next day I decided to run outside.
This one time, I walked into Superstore, and everyone was standing still, so I was like, this is kind of weird. It was really rainy outside, so my shoes were squeaking on the floor. I walked up to the customer service desk, and the lady ran away, and when she came back, she pointed to the poppy flower on her shirt. It was the moment of silence for Remembrance Day. I was really embarrassed.
It was cold that day. I awoke in my bed and I could clearly see my breath in the dark air. My blanket wrapped around me tightly as I lay very, very still. My window was only open a bit. I struggled on the ice as my dad skated circles around me. The cold winter air stung my face as I skated inch by inch. The lake was solid. The snow was deep. White blankets laid everywhere.